all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing? Just a heads up, we only gonna be here for about 30 minutes. I'm not gonna keep y'all today. Thank you, Miss Lou Casely, for the contribution. I always appreciate you, sweetheart. And thank you, Malika, as well. So peace to you, sister. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. I appreciate y'all. So I wanted to talk about listen, sometimes I'm not in the correct emotional space, which is why I started the show later, 30 minutes later, and I'm only going to be 30 minutes. I love coming here talking to you guys. I love sharing with everyone. I love my supporters. I love my subscribers. I'm just a girl. What about her, sweetheart? What about who is I'm just a girl? I never heard of them. But thank you, Kendra, sent my donation to the cookout today. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Sometimes I'm not in the right emotional space, but I don't necessarily want to always not do a show when I'm like that. So I wanted to talk about and expand my thoughts on the whole single mother thing. Because I think people think if women hear it from other women that it'll have a different effect than when the men say it, and it does not. It really don't. Yeah, see, as a content creator, Miss Lou Casely, and anybody in here who create content, y'all probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If your emotional or mental space is not that, you're not in the creative, it'd be difficult to present information the way that you really want to in a really compelling way. I want to have a conversation about Diddy, but I don't want to do a show on Diddy. I want to talk about that this weekend, but I want to do it in Discord. So somebody put my Discord link. It's in the description of every video and live that I do. Somebody post the Discord link. Because I want to talk about it. But I don't want to do a show on it. It'll mess my algorithm up. It's a little too sensational. If I can find an angle, I will. But Miss Francois. Because see, I don't think it's a coincidence that all these little music CEOs and all these little CEOs stepping down. I don't think that's a coinky-dink. Link is too big. The my Discord link too big. Let me see. Can anybody post it? Hold on. Okay. There's a Discord link. There we go. No, it's no problem, Miss Nicole. Thank you, Nurdine. Say, Kendra's been a while. I got a question for the lovely ladies. If these canes are so dusty, how are these dusty canes making lovely ladies baby mamas if they are so dusty? Because everybody's dusty. Everybody involved in that is dusty. But we can talk about Diddy in Discord. Because I think people are minimizing what he's actually being charged with. People think he being charged because he had orgies. That's not what he. If you read the 14-page indictment, that's not what he's being charged with at all. It's included, but not because it's an orgy. Don't nobody care about did he have an orgy. Don't nobody care about that. Don't nobody care what Diddy doing in the bedroom. Cause see, it's a difference between we all here chilling and we gonna do some nasty stuff and everybody gonna go home. But if you come here and I slip a Mickey in your drink and then dare you to leave, that's not consenting. That's when you start going into criminal territory. You can't do that to people. You can't do that to people. That's illegal. You can't do that. You cannot do that. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna do my actual show because the baby oil was wild. But I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna do my actual show. What I don't see is him as a victim. He's not a victim either. If we want to say that the people who were participatory were volunteers and not victims, because even though what was going on was crazy, they were participating in it for whatever reason. He was orchestrating it. So he ain't no victim either. He volunteered all that because he could have just as well not done any of it. No, there wasn't no gun in his head. He could have chose to lay low, be a billionaire and lay low, but he didn't want to do that. He was doing what he was doing. So he ain't no victim either. If the other people involved wasn't no victim, neither is he. But anyway. We gonna do it in Discord because I can't do it here. That was not all he was doing. Don't nobody care about that. If you understand these people the way I understand these people, then you will know how deep it is. So let me share this real quick. Hold on. You know, I'm gonna have to do my thing with the little screenshot over it because they be tripping whenever it's about Miss Auntie Iyanla's show and stuff like that. But I'm gonna play it so you guys can hear it.
Asking the question. Okay. Oh, you don't have to come after me.
I'm upset
because
I'm like 1,000, 1,000,000 women out here, and we work every day to take care of these kids. We do everything we have to do for these kids, and these men just skate.
This is not about they do, I do, we do. This is about 28-year-old men who got 5 children.
That's right.
Because their hearts are broken. It's about women seeking validation in the bed with a man. It's about us being broken.
Absolutely.
And looking for somebody else to fill us up.
Absolutely.
That's what this is about.
And I understand
not
that.
About you taking care of the child that you had with a man when you didn't have a condom or pill or something. We all have to take responsibility because the children are suffering.
Now, I'm gonna come back to you. So you was able to hear that. Coming from the mouth of women don't do nothing for hyenas. The lack of accountability. She said, oh, these men just skate. When you're busy running your men away from you, I don't like the men just skate narrative. And the reason I don't like that narrative is because, as I've said before, these are not usually intact family units that were broken up because the man left an intact family because she had a baby. I don't like that narrative. I don't like that narrative. I don't appreciate that narrative. Because too many times, these were situationships. These were one-night stands in some cases. These were babies because we're being reckless and I don't even really know you. These are babies because just because. These are babies out of spite. There are a myriad of reasons why a lot of these chicks be out here just birthing kids and then don't like the kid and then don't like the man. Never did like the man that they had the kids with. So to say that the men are skating, I don't like that, because it implies that there was some kind of deeper relationship. And when you start asking the questions about, well, what was going on with this baby daddy, or what was going on with this situation, a lot of the times there wasn't no family. It was just in today's hookup culture, where marriage itself is demonized, where actually being together in a traditional sense is now demonized by both sides of the coin, the men and the women. Ain't no way we got all these undocumented yet intact families that all the men have just simply decided that they are not going to be responsible as fathers, even though they are fathering children. The percentage of men who are doing that, I would wager to be very small. I believe that that would be a minority of men. Too many times the women pursue motherhood in spite of not having stable relationships, not having any marriage, this is why they fight the concept of marry before you carry. This is why they fight that concept, because it's not about, in this day and age, post-feminism, it's not about creating a family. It's about women getting what they want. And they be wanting babies. They biological clock be ticking and all that kind of stuff. And you've heard so many women say it was easier for them to become mothers than it is to become wives. And they'll sit and tell you about how marriage is not the goal and they shouldn't have to be pressured into being married, and they shouldn't have to be pressured, and that doesn't add value to a woman, or it doesn't take value from a woman if she's not married and if she's going to have a kid on her own. And so many different excuses, too many that come from the mouths of the women who are engaging in it. There are too many of those statements made for me to believe that they are invested in these relationships and that the men just leave. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that. I got one more to share with you. I got something else to share with you. And I found that this was interesting as well.
You were only child.
Only child.
Your father left at the age of 5?
Yeah, he was 4 or 5. He was in the Air Force, and he was a medic in the Air Force, and he was he flew choppers and airplanes, and when he got out, he was an anesthesiologist.
Now, was it important to mend that relationship before he passed? Or
I did.
Wow.
My mother said, I just wanted to know. I remember him, and my mother said, what you looking for him for? But they be mad, but my mother really ran him off. You know what I mean? She was
What?
she ran him off, and she was a monster, man. You know what I'm saying?
Did your dad say that?
Oh no, I just saw it. I saw it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this dude is cool. He was really cool, you know. But she like, I don't want it. You know, everything he tried to do, she just knocked it down. Like, but she was listening to her girlfriends. That's why I try to tell all these young girls, don't listen to no woman that ain't got no man.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? If you got a woman, if you got a girlfriend, you got a husband, she know how to treat her husband. But a woman that don't have a man, she can't tell you nothing.
Mm-hmm. Also mentioned that you were only child.
Only child.
Your father left at the age of 5?
Yeah, he was 4 or 5. He was in the Air Force, and he was a medic in the Air Force, and he was he flew choppers and airplanes, and when he got out, he was an anesthesiologist.
Now, was it important to mend that relationship before he?
Now, that was Bruce, the comedian. And he was talking about how after he was an adult, he wanted to mend the broken relationship between him and his dad. Come to find out, he was like, my dad's cool. Like, my dad was a cool guy. And he was like, it was my mom that ran him off. Like, nothing that he did was acceptable to her because she was listening to her girlfriends. And DJ Envy asked, is that something that your dad said to you? He was like, no, it's what I saw, which goes into what I was talking about when men are raised by single mothers. A lot of times they don't like that dynamic or that energy of a woman because they watch their moms, and they watch their moms make a lot of crazy decisions and do a lot of foolishness behind closed doors. Anywhere from having men in and out to simply, just being, a bee on wheels, just watching her do that. Just as you get older, you start to see who the culprit is. And a lot of these chicks think that their children are going to stay babies forever. And they don't. Your children grow up and they are watching you. They are watching and they are perceiving you in ways that you don't know. You think you're shaping their perception of you, and a lot of times you are not. You're not. Your children are not stupid. They can see you. They can see you. And they're going to start creating and coming to their own conclusions about you. They're going to start coming to their own conclusions about who you are. And they're going to start reevaluating what you said versus what they saw. You know what I'm saying? They're going to start reevaluating that as they get a little older. Like, wait a minute. The story that you've been telling us, now that I'm a man, now that I'm, grown, now that no. And it's an interesting thing to start to see your mother in a different way. And you see her not as your mom, but as a woman. And that's a different lens. To stop seeing your mom as your mom and start seeing her as a woman. And that's an interesting point for any child to come to, because when children become grown, we do start looking at our parents as people rather than my dad or my mom. And sometimes that leads to us kind of like, oh, you kind of wasn't no good. Or it can lead you to, no, now I understand the mistakes that you made. Like, I understand you. Like, I was harder on you because I was a child and I didn't really understand it. But now as an adult, I just see you as a person. I just see you as a flawed individual who probably did do their best. And sure, you might have dropped the ball a couple of times, but hey, you know what I'm saying? Now that I'm grown and in the world, like I get it now. Like I get it now. I had to come to that with my dad. Because there came a time when I didn't see him as my dad solely. I started seeing him as a man. Just a man in the world. It's like, okay, this is why you might have made some of these decisions. Now, that doesn't mean that your decisions always had a good outcome or a good effect on me. But at the same time, like, I can see it, though. Like, I see you. I see you. And a lot of times that can lead to your forgiveness to your parents, especially if you held something against them. Once you become an adult, you can kind of forgive them. Like, okay, yeah, I get you. I still maybe don't like it, but I get it now. And it is what it is now. But there's little to no accountability. There's usually defensiveness when we start talking to women about their choices, about why they became impregnated from a man that maybe they weren't married to, or maybe they didn't have a good relationship with to begin with. And when you start questioning them about those things, they don't like that line of questioning because they start feeling like, well, now you're blaming me. Well, kinda. And it maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe I'm trying to blame you, and maybe not. Maybe I'm just trying to understand it. Or maybe I'm just trying to bring something to you so you can understand it. This is ultimately why we're having such such a difficult time as a group of people, Black people, I mean, coming together and collectively healing and moving forward. Too many of us struggle against the truth in various ways. We got too much baggage that we like to hold on to, that we don't want to let go of. And a lot of that baggage is destructive. And we don't want to let go of it because for whatever reason, a lot of these dysfunctions, we've taken them on as part of our identity. And we think that if we drop them, then we're going to lose some of our Blackness, or we're not going to be who we are. And it's too much of that. We think if we separate ourselves from certain ideals that we've held on to as a group of people, ideals that have failed us time and again, we've put it as part of our identity, so it feels like we're losing something if we say we want to be separated from that. We have been steeped in the lost value system so long as a group of people that it is now a part of our identity. And we think that if we drop it, we're not going to be Black no more. We don't want to drop hood politics. And just the way, well, it's just the way it is in the hood. And it's not that everything in the hood has been bad, but some of those thought patterns, some of those things that we've held on to is just not good. It don't allow you to move forward in life. And it just being that's just the way it's been, or that's just the way you grew up, that's no longer a good excuse. Because that being all that we know, how long is that gonna hold up? You 47 years old. What you mean that's all you know? If hood stuff is all you know because you grew up in the hood and you hitting on 50, that's your fault. So you didn't come out of that to see nothing else? You don't know nothing else? You have not thought about anything else, or you have not thought about things from a different perspective ever? Never? You got black folks still think it's something wrong with healthy eating. Yes. And we and this alone has held us back. My blackness was constantly questioned when I attempted to be positive or do things differently. That alone has been the main thing to hold us back, because it is that sentiment that keeps us in the lost value system. It's that. Doing things differently or trying to do things positively or trying to do, we shame each other into remaining in the lost value system because we start questioning blackness. And blackness is a part of our identity. No one wants their identity questioned. But at the same time, if a part of my identity has to be rooted in this very negative, destructive thing or thought or mindset, or, you know what I'm saying? Why do I have to hold on to that in order to hold on to my blackness? Why I gotta hold on, you know what I'm saying, to eating pig feet because I'm black? I'm just saying something that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, why I gotta hold on to that? I don't. So if I want to take my health seriously and I make sure that, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing certain things and, you know, I'm eating a certain kind of way and I don't eat certain things anymore. Well, what you think? What's going on with you? Why something got to be going on with me? Why come I can't do this over here? What's wrong with you? Now, why something got to be wrong? We got this one track mind of what blackness is and what it's supposed to be. Anyway. Like, if you make money and you move out of the hood, you're always trying to make money and move around in white folk. Actually, no. Actually, no. That's not what it is. That's really not what it is. But why I gotta be in the depths of the hood if that ain't where I'm at no more? I mean, I ain't hating. I don't want to live over there. I don't want to live where I'm being serenaded with gunshots every night. I don't want to do that. I'm kind of traumatized by it. I don't want to do that no more. I want to go somewhere where I can have a good night's sleep and I ain't got to hear sirens every 5 minutes. Like literally, y'all remember when I used to do shows and you used to hear a police siren every 5 to 10 minutes? Do y'all remember that? My day ones, my old school subscribers. Do y'all remember that? I used to have to mute it sometimes because of that. And I used to always have to apologize for that noise because there was always something. I didn't forget all of that. Nothing there. It just ain't nothing there. It's just not. The way you gotta think and the way you gotta move, I don't miss that. And I'm not but like a couple of steps from it. But at the same time, my mind changed. And I'm not, if nothing else, I'm not going back to that thinking. I'm not gonna do it. Once your mind shift from the lost value system into truth, you be like shaking your head at the stuff that was acceptable to you and the things that you may have indulged in or allowed to happen around you, or you really be appalled at yourself. Like that was cool with me at some point in my life. Wow. When you can, your mind change, you be like, oh, that was rough. I was doing that. Oh God. Anybody else that felt like that? You be like, so that was cool with me. Like I be looking back at, I don't take a lot of pictures, but I took a few in my lifetime. Like literally, I don't like pictures, but I took a few pictures, and I looked at one of my old pictures from years back, how fat I was, and it's like, so at some point you was cool with that. At some point, you was living your life in such a way that you allowed your back to be as big as that. That was cool with you. All them zoom zooms and wham whams you was eating, you just let your back get that big. What was going through your mind that you let your back get that big? Now I think back on what was really going through my mind at that time. I just be like, wow. that music be doing stuff to somebody. Cause I listen to rock, like alternative rock. Like I listen to my R&B and my rap, old school rap more so, and stuff like that. But I will listen to 80s music. I will listen to rock music. Anyway. Thank you, Nuruddin. Says, oh, Kendra, you telling me lovely ladies overall, the love all that dust from these dusty kings. That's amazing. And so they're creating the same kings that they complain about. And what guys like me that nothing to do with it to come back. If come back, it I say. When I make 6 figures, I'm moving away from those dusty ninjas, okay? Because they don't leave you alone. And thank you, Steve, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Low key, not gonna trip. And System of a Down. Like System of a Down is actually one of my favorite groups, but we're not gonna talk about that. Anyway, I stayed a little past that 30 minutes, but jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonite.